best daddy in the whole world.
I love you more.
Daddy, I have
It's
some.
gotta be with you.
And I'm allowed, and now, like, my relationship is the most beautiful relationship ever. Like, I'm in a very beautiful spot with my dad, and I love that.
I just wanted to say, speak up, sweetheart, speak up. Get close. Ever since I was born, Daddy has been the best father you could ever imagine. And I just wanted to say I love him so much.
Dance!
Yes, go!
Woo!
The girl is mine. The gone girl is mine. Aw, dads. Dad.
Mind if you want to try them?
I'll never stop putting makeup on as long as I live.
Goddamn girl is mine.
As long as it's on my ass.
Come on, Miley, bring in a little bit country. Ba ba da 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 da. Zoopy 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 da. Wah 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 wah. I don't think the dads envisioned this. The girls are mine.
Welcome to this video of Paris Jackson talking about her dad, Michael Jackson. Basically, as a person, she is who my dad is, says her older brother, Prince Michael Jackson. The only thing that's different would be her age and her gender. Paris is similar to Michael, he adds, in all of her strengths and almost all of her weaknesses as well. She's very passionate. She is very emotional to the point where she can let emotion cloud her judgment.
Didn't think I was good enough.
Mm.
And then I just loved it so much that I was like, who cares? I'm just going to do it.
Yeah, I was always terrified. I was like, I just didn't want to even touch it.
Yeah.
So like it's anytime I meet, anyone whose family is in the music business and they go on to do it, I'm always just like, man, like hats off, because I just terrified.
Yeah.
I played drums for a little bit and I was like, oh, this is fun. And then I just was like, you know what? No, I was drawn to the other side of the entertainment industry in that capacity.
It is funny. We do tend to stick with entertainment, though. Like my brothers are going into film.
Oh, nice.
Like, yeah, we tend to kind of stay in the arts
Totally.
regardless.
And
And grow up, I don't know if it's nature versus nurture, but it's definitely.
The
So I've been
comments.
looking, but yeah, a lot of the stuff that I had seen in the past, most of it, isn't really accurate. There's nothing off the top of my head that I can think of.
Yeah.
I'd say maybe I hate the term spoiled brat.
Yeah.
I hate that a lot. Because
that.
there was a lot about my upbringing that was silver spoon-esque, but there was so much of it that had to be earned. Like there was very much a focus on developing a work ethic. And so I did see something recently where it's like, you don't have to work, and it's like, no, I do.
Yeah.
Like I really do, because if I stop, I'm like a shark. If I stop moving, I'll die. Like I need to, it makes me happy to move and work and be productive. Like I need it for my well-being.
Yeah. No, I get that for sure. Do you feel like you had to do a lot of explaining of yourself?
In the past, yes. Not so much anymore.
What changed? What made you decide to say?
It's tiring.
Yeah.
It's really tiring. And, I went through a pretty gnarly depressive spell for a couple of years. And this last year, I've just been so happy. And I've just been just putting all my focus into maintaining that.
Yeah.
And it's just a drag to have to explain myself.
Yeah.
And so I'm just kind of, what you see is what you get. And if you interpret it a weird way, that's kind of
Not your monkey, not your circus.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah.
Everyone's entitled to their own experience and their own opinions, and what other people think of me is none of my business.
Yeah.
Pick up another.
And
I just, the behavior is really ugly.
Yeah.
It's really ugly behavior in a moral way, because I was raised to be kind.
Yeah.
And not nice. I could give a shit about being nice, but being kind and like looking people in the eye and like asking the waiter their name so you can write it down on the receipt later, and just little things of just like, how do you treat people?
Sure.
And I went through years and years and years of self-hatred. Like, oh, I may be like a liar, a cheater, a piece of shit, a thief, whatever, but like I do have a good moral compass. Like I was raised right in that way. And what happens when I drink is that goes away. That goes right out the window, and I become a very vindictive person.
When you were younger, when you were a kid, did you ever have like oh wait, my life isn't like my friends at school's lives?
Well, I didn't have like friends at school until I was homeschooled for the first like 6th grade. 7th grade is when I entered
wow.
like an actual school system. Didn't have a lot of social skills.
Was that a shock going from homeschooling to sitting in a classroom?
Yeah, and like the worst time too, like 7th grade sucks. 7th grade sucks. And then when you don't have, any pre-experience of how to, interact with peers, that integration process can be kind of rough. Yeah, I don't I think it was just so normalized to sometimes like look out my hotel room and see, 1,000 people just hanging out with signs. And I don't know that there was ever like a moment where it kind of clicked. I think it was kind of just a slow,
it just is.
Yeah, graduation into understanding what other people's lives were like. But it wasn't like this jarring, oh, I'm so insanely different. It was kind of just, I think I was eased into it.
Yeah. Yeah. Did you prefer homeschooling or going to school? Because I'm thinking about homeschooling some of my kids.
Yeah, I think there's pros and cons to both. I think there's definitely a way to do homeschooling that maybe doesn't leave the kid as social skill inept as I was. I think there's a way to kind of integrate them with other kids. But homeschooling was definitely beneficial as far as like my actual education goes. Like I definitely feel like I disagree with a lot of the curriculum in most schools, and I disagree with a lot of that stuff. And so I'm very grateful for the education that I had and the kind of tones of the schooling.
What do you mean?
It was very so I'm just going to state a fact, not an opinion. Depending on which state and city you're in, your history books are going to tell you completely different things.
Totally.
A history book in Houma, Louisiana is going to be completely different from one that you get in Seattle, Washington. That's just, if you look at the things that's completely different. And so I was very grateful for some of the history lessons that I got that were maybe a little bit more focused around harder truths and not sugarcoating, I guess the history of the country or whatever.
Sure.
And that was cool. And also like having one-on-one, like I struggled with maths. I struggled with anything that was left brain. So having like one person, me and the teacher, to kind of explain it to me was really helpful. But it definitely lacked. I only really knew how to interact with adults. I was friends with my dad's friends. I didn't have, people my age.
Michael gave the kids the option of going to regular school. They declined. When you're at home, says Paris, your dad, who you love more than anything, will occasionally come in the middle of class, and it's like, cool, no more class for the day. We're going to go hang out with Dad. We were like, we don't need friends. We've got you and Disney Channel. She acknowledges, a really weird kid. Her dad taught her how to cook soul food mostly. He was a kick-ass cook, she says. His fried chicken is the best in the world. He taught me how to make sweet potato pie. Paris is baking 4 pies plus gumbo for Grandma Catherine's Thanksgiving, which actually takes place the day before the holiday, in deference to Catherine's Jehovah's Witness beliefs. Michael schooled Paris on every conceivable genre of music. My dad worked with Van Halen, so I got into Van Halen, she says. He worked with Slash, so I got into Guns N' Roses. He introduced me to Tchaikovsky and Debussy, Earth, Wind and Fire, The Temptations, Tupac, Run DMC. His number one focus for us, says Paris, besides loving us, was education. And he wasn't like, oh yeah, mighty Columbus came to this land. He was like, no, He fucking slaughtered the natives. Would he really phrase it that way? He did have kind of a potty mouth. He cussed like a sailor. But he was also very shy. Picture your parent crying to you about the world hating him for something he didn't do. And for me, he was the only thing that mattered. To see my entire world in pain, I started to hate the world because of what they were doing to him. I'm like, how can people be so mean? She pauses. Sorry, I'm getting emotional. He did not bullshit us, she replies. You try to give kids the best childhood possible, but you also have to prepare them for the shitty world. I was crazy. I was actually crazy. I was going through a lot of teen angst. And I was also dealing with my depression and my anxiety without any help. Her father, she says, also struggled with depression, and she was prescribed the same antidepressants he once took, though she's no longer on any psych meds. She said that Michael Jackson made sure that they were cultured. My dad was really good about making sure we were cultured, making sure we were educated, and not just showing us the glitz and glam like hotel hopping, 5-star places, Paris said. It was also we saw everything. We saw third world countries. We saw every part of the spectrum. From vocal media families.
As an adult, did you struggle with trying to figure out how public, how private do I want my life to be? Or did you feel like you just didn't have an option?
Yeah, there's definitely a certain element where I felt I had to share everything, and I felt like I owed it to people because I do believe that is the impression I was given of you owe this to us. And that has drastically changed in the last few years. Because I don't really feel like any of us owe anyone anything. And the way I express myself now, I don't want it to feel performative. I won't get too into it, but just the one main example that's coming to mind is this idea of you need to go on social media on your dad's birthday or his death day or Father's Day, and you need to post. And you need to basically mimic how a fan would express their love. But for me, I had a personal relationship, not a parasocial relationship. So I'm now learning I can have my own personal relationship, and I'm allowed to be private about it. And I'm allowed, and now my relationship is the most beautiful relationship ever. I'm in a very beautiful spot with my dad, and I love that. And it's no one's business.
Yeah.
And I don't have to share that with anybody. And there's a lot of freedom in that, which is really cool. But I'm not gonna express my love in a copycat way, copying someone that didn't know him.
Sure.
Because I did. That was my best friend. So.
Do you have any fears?
And
it can be as benign as a spider.
I've recently developed a different relationship with spiders.
Me too.
Than I used to. It's been
that's so weird you say that.
It's fascinating because I've been afraid of them my whole life, and a lot of fears like that are learned. I learned that from my dad, because he was deathly afraid of spiders, and I struggled with them for so long. And then in the last year, my relationship with them has changed. I don't even really bother as much taking them outside.
In an interview from The Standard, Paris says that, despite being surrounded by the trappings of extraordinary wealth and success, she says her father was careful not to spoil her and her siblings. We were very privileged growing up, but when it came to things like getting toys and going on the rides, we had to earn that, she explains. We were lucky enough to be raised with solid morals. He would be like, "Oh, you want to go to Toys R Us and get 5 toys? Great. You need to read 5 books, and I will test you on those books." It was very clear to us that those rides and the zoo were for underprivileged children. Children who were sick and couldn't go to Disneyland. If we were good, and we did our homework, and we worked hard throughout the week, maybe we could go at the weekends, but we had to earn it. She has come to terms with the incredible fame that was her inheritance, in part by using it to draw attention to causes she believes in. She credits her faith in the power of activism in part to her godmother, Elizabeth Taylor. She is an ambassador for Taylor's AIDS Foundation. But mostly to her father for bringing her up to be anything but a spoiled brat. I think a huge part of it was from my dad, from his work and his humanitarianism, she says. Going back to the morals we were raised with, he instilled in us. Do what you can to leave this place better than how you found it. That's in terms of the bigger stuff, the importance of the environment, human rights, and animal rights. But also just things like if you go over to a friend's house and they cook you dinner, leave it better than you found it. Help them clean up.
Tell me what your wishes are for your birthday. What would you like to see happen
Mother,
in your life? What do you want?
I do what you do.
What do I do?
You dance and sing.
That's what you want to do? Really?
Me too.
What age did you discover that you had a singing voice? There were certain things that, like, my dad would have me sing, and when he realized I could match pitch, I saw him get excited about that. So I'm like, that must mean I can do something. And then I started practicing a little bit more when I got older. But it's funny because I listened back on like the stuff that I was doing when I was 16, 17. I sounded like fuck, dude. I sounded like fuck. But yeah, with practice, it gets better.
I did an interview, and one of the questions asked was they wanted me to list bands and artists that influenced the sound that my band does. Some people were really upset that I didn't put my father on that list. The question was not, who do you think is a musical genius? It wasn't, whose music changed your life? It wasn't, name some of the greatest artists of all time. The question was, which artists influenced the way you sound? Naturally, I chose folk artists. By not putting my father on the list, in no way am I not acknowledging the musical genius he is. I'm not trying to discredit him in any way. I'm not trying to avoid acknowledging everything that he's done for me. And while I have worked very hard to grow my platform, that platform wouldn't exist in the first place if it was not for him. I'm not ignoring these facts. So I choose these. I mean, like, my dad did shit with Carlos Santana and Eddie Van Halen, you know, pop, rock, soul, some of the greatest music of all time. And I'm over here with a fucking banjo and mandolin. Totally different thing. Some people have taken screenshots of one of the many scars I have on my arm. The scar just so happens to be on top of one of the 7 tattoos I have for my dad. I have 7 tattoos for him. People are really not upset that I hurt myself, but upset that this specific scar is on top of this tattoo. And I'd like to clarify that it has nothing to do with him. It has nothing to do with the tattoo. It has everything to do with me, my struggles, my issues with self-harm that I have overcome. People are accusing me of having like resentments and issues with my father. If that was the case, I would just get the tattoo removed. You know, or all 7 of them removed. I was the only girl of 4 boys, primarily like for the first 10, 11 years of my life. Because I was the only girl, my dad loved playing dress up. You know, I was always wearing these like fruity dresses and I looked like a porcelain doll and I hated it. Today is my dad's birthday, and back when he was alive, he used to hate anybody acknowledging his birthday, wishing him a happy birthday, celebrating it, nothing like that. He actually didn't want us to even know when his birthday was because he didn't want us to like throw a party or anything like that. There have been times where I don't post anything for my dad's birthday and people lose their fucking minds. They told me to kill myself, and they're basically measuring my love for my own father based off of what I post on Instagram. Now, if you are an MJ superfan and you want to do something that he would have loved, which is not celebrate his birthday, my suggestion would be, you know, there's always ways to get involved with raising awareness for climate change, doing stuff for the environment, animal rights activism. These were things that he loved and he was very, very interested in. And I can't speak for him because, you know, I'm a different person and I don't know, but I'm sure he would have loved that. And so if you want to, you know, pay homage and honor him on his birthday, that would be my suggestion. It's also my dad's birthday. And he would have been 65 years old today. And he put 50 years of blood, sweat, and tears, and love and passion into doing what he did so that I could stand up here on stage in front of you and scream into a microphone. So I owe everything to him. When I grew up, we were always on the move, couch surfing, hotel hopping, always traveling with our dad.
And some of the tour buses that I was in when I was growing up had bunk beds and stuff. And
I stayed in those with my brothers and stuff. Obviously, my dad had like the room in the back that had an actual bed. We stayed in bunk beds and stuff. I loved it. I loved being on the road.
My dad, he was the king of pop, rock, and soul, but he didn't do folk, which is funny because I am being a musician, which is expected, but I'm doing a genre that's not expected.
This number showcases that creative process as he builds a dance routine step by unforgettable step to one of his best loved hits, drawing on some of the influences who helped inspire his signature style.
Even like credible magazines can do that. Rolling Stone. In the photo shoot, for example, like they wanted to do stuff with my dad, so I was like, okay, cool, like I'll wear his jacket, I'll wear his shirt, I'll do this, that, and then they were like, okay, well, let's get you, get a couple pictures of you in front of a giant brick thing that has a graffiti of him, you know, standing like this. And I was like, no, I really don't want to do that, I don't feel comfortable with it. So like, okay, we'll put something in front of it, and they like created an entire new set, but they shot it to where you could totally see what the behind it. And then they made it seem as if I'm trying to paint over him and, you know, get rid of him, and I'm like, yeah.
My grandma's just like a sweetheart. She's just amazing in every way. And he was just too kind-hearted like her. So he had a hard time saying no.
Well, what do you think is the biggest lesson that you'll always keep with you that your father taught you?
Just to stick together. He always told us that if anything happened to him, me, Prince, and Linkett would have to stick together, that we'd have to take care of each other, no matter what. Just living at Neverland was amazing. It was fun, and like he would kind of bribe us. He would say, if we were good, we would be able to go to the zoo or the amusement park or the train station, and we were good, so he would let us go, like every once in a while. We didn't know a lot of kids like at our age. We were more secluded. We never really left the ranch that often, so we couldn't really like compare our lives to other kids' lives, so we just thought it was normal. Like, oh yeah, everyone had an amusement park in their backyard. No, he never really like explained us why we were traveling. He's like, okay, so pack your bags tonight because we're leaving tomorrow. And I'm like, okay.
Fun. Did you know your father was famous when you were younger?
Not really. I just knew that he had like a few songs. Like we didn't really listen to a lot of his music. We just listened to like one album, and we would play it on repeat over and over and over. And me and my brother would make like these pillow forts, and we would blast his music in the hotel room and just jump around the whole room, up and down. It was really fun. I mean, we grew up. I mean, we would go to his concerts like when I was like 6 or 7. And I remember, and they were like awesome, but I didn't really notice all like the thousands of people that were there. I just saw him like singing. I'm like, oh my God, he's amazing. But obviously, I was a huge fan of his. So sometimes we would go traveling like through the crowds, and me and Prince would get like stepped on. I mean, Blanket would be carried because he was so small, but we would like get stepped on, and we were like, one time, I lost my dad's hand. I was freaking out, and then I just remember him snatching me up and running. I was like, oh, thank God.
Did he ever explain to you why there was such a commotion all the time around you?
We never really got an explanation. I mean, we didn't really ask a lot. I mean, I'm very proud of him, and I'm proud to be his daughter, and I have to say that I am. I mean, a lot of people are going to argue with me, but I'm definitely his #1 fan. He contributed a lot to the world. He changed lives, he saved lives, and he was just like amazing. And I really hope that his legacy lives on forever, and I know it will. Music, charity work, everything.
Did you guys do a lot of charity work with them?
Well, I mean, we weren't allowed to leave where we were staying. Like, we stayed in a lot of places, but sometimes we would. I remember going with him to a hospital once. I don't remember, like once or twice. He always pushed me to be the best I could be. He helped me a lot with acting, and he said that he wants me to start acting as early as possible. And I mean,
what sorts of things did he do to help you?
We would work on improvs together. I mean, a lot of people are jealous of him, I mean, they will do anything to put him down, whether it's make up rumors, take him to court with lies. It's just, everyone wants something from people.
Do you think the world understood your dad?
Not a lot did. A lot of people didn't really understand him.
What do you think people are missing out of the full equation of who he was?
That he was really normal. He was just like a kind-hearted, just like he was just always generous. He's like a dove. I will say a dove is one of my favorite animals, and he's just like, he's innocent, and he's just like a sweetheart.
So, what's your favorite memory of your father?
A favorite memory of my dad? I don't know, it's pretty hard. We had a lot. I mean, there were a lot in Bahrain where we would like hang out on the roof, or we would just like in Ireland, me and him went walking through the forest, and it's just fun.
When do you think he was happiest, your dad?
I would probably say he was happiest when he was like in disguise, and he could, like, we went to Disneyland several times, and he would be in disguise and he could just act like normal. There would be no one like bothering him or like asking him. But
so do you think that that's what he wanted at the end, was just to not be Michael Jackson?
Yeah.
You think so? Yeah. Do you feel sometimes like you have to defend him?
Definitely. I'll always defend him.
What kind of dad was he?
I can't imagine anyone having a dad not like him. He was just amazing.
Like, what were some of the things that made him amazing?
Just, he was kind and just like the sweetest guy ever.
What's the most important thing that he ever taught you?
He said, always be humble. Don't get too big-headed. Don't be conceited. Always be humble and appreciate what you have.
So you've obviously probably seen a lot of his performances online, like when he did the moonwalk for the first time.
Yeah, that was amazing.
Yeah, when you see your dad like just dance and do these amazing things, what do you think?
I was like, wow, I wish I could do that. He promised me he would teach me how to moonwalk. Never got around to it.
Did you guys ever dance together or practice in the studio?
Sometimes, like, he taught me how to like pop and lock a little bit, but.
Did you guys ever sing together? Or?
Yeah, he taught me a lot of keys. He taught me how to go like really high and then like really low. That's why I'm able to do soprano and in choir. So.
You know your dad's been performing since he was 5, right? Or
yeah.
5, 6, 7. And now you want to follow in his footsteps.
Yes.
But your dad has also said publicly that he felt like he lost his childhood. How do you feel about potentially going down the same road as him?
Well, I mean, it's not that we like really have a choice. Like, we were kind of born into it. So either way, it's not really going to be different. I don't think.
Did you learn any lessons about your dad's fame now that you are obviously going to?
Yeah, like be careful and make sure your public image is always like spotless, because people will try anything against you.
Well, your dad's public image was, well, he was obviously very famous, but then no one knew what he was like behind that.
Yeah, well, I mean, he was very loved all around the world. He was also really hated, but the only reason he was hated was because people were jealous of him.
Hated? I don't know. It's a strong word.
A lot of people are... There are a lot of bad people out there.
Is that what your dad told you, or do you feel?
Yeah.
What do you want the world now to know about your dad that they may not have ever been able to learn?
Well, I mean... He was just an awesome, like, down-to-earth, old soul. He was awesome.
Old soul?
Yeah.
What was your relationship like with him? What was the dynamic?
Well, we were like, he was my best friend. Yeah. We were kind of like the pranksters. He taught me a lot of really good pranks. And every time like we had guests, like we had like family or like the cousins or just like family friends, like we would always mess with them. It was fun. In Ireland, there was actually a lot more freedom. We could like, there was a lot of land, so we could just like run around. And they had this dog. Her name was Rosie. She was a border collie. She was like our favorite thing. And when it would rain, she would just like wait outside our door and like paw the door, and we would let her in. And our dad would get mad. We would like ruin our towels drying her off. He would come downstairs and he would see the dog sitting on the couch by the fire. He's like, what is that dog doing there? He would get so mad. Like, he loved animals, but it's just, he doesn't like them like dirtying up the place. But
Was he a neat freak?
huh? He was, yeah. He's a Virgo. So I mean, like, you would see his bed all perfect, like his bed and everything, and just DVDs everywhere. Just like everything's messy except like the bed and where he sleeps. It was when we stayed in Bel Air for a while. He went in the bathroom, like he just had finished making the bed. He went in the bathroom. I took the pillow just to mess with him. I took the pillow and I tilted it down. He came out and he fixed it. Then when he wasn't looking, I turned it down again. And then he looked at the pillow and he looked at me and he looked at the pillow. He fixed it, and he's like, don't you dare touch it, because he knew I was messing with him. Yeah, we loved messing with him, and then he would always mess with us.
So when you guys went to Ireland and all that, a lot of people didn't really know he was there, right?
Yeah, a lot of people didn't know he was there. Like, we were kind of in like a secluded place, but there was a lot of land there.
That must have been fun for you guys.
Yeah, it was really fun. They were like,
I guess a bit of a departure from the life of your dad.
yeah, it was fun. It was kind of like he kind of had a break from being him. Like, he could just sit at home and chill.
What was that like for him?
I think it was really good for him. I mean, he got a lot more sleep. He could just like rest and relax.
Just have a normal life, right? Do you think that was probably one of the happier times that you guys?
Yeah, I mean, he always wanted a taste of like normal life. So when he went to Ireland, it was just easier for him.
And when you would go out in public, like your face would be covered and you would be like secluded from the public. What did you think about that then? Or did you just think that
I was really confused. Like, I didn't get why I was wearing a mask. But I understand it now, why my dad would want our face to be covered. Like, when we went out without him, we wouldn't be recognized and we could have a normal childhood.
So you would only do that when you were with your dad?
Yeah.
Yeah. And then, when you weren't with your dad, you could go out and people wouldn't know who you were. Smart, smart. And so, did you feel that he wanted you to have a, quote, normal life?
Yeah, he did.
Yeah. Do you feel that he thought that that was possible with him being who he was?
He had his doubts, because I remember he told us that when he was younger, he didn't really have a childhood. Like, he would always be stuck in the studio singing and while other kids were out playing. And he wanted us to have that. So we would, a lot of times, we'd go to Chuck E. Cheese and everything, and it was, that was Chuck E. Cheese and Toys R Us were our favorite places to go.
Really?
Yeah.
You know, when we were talking last year, or almost a year and a half ago, one of the things that you said that really surprised me, and I think a lot of other people, you were talking about your dad making breakfast for you.
Yeah.
And I thought that was such an interesting memory, because the world doesn't really perceive your father as, you know, a father who's making breakfast. Yeah. Can you tell us about your life with him and all the normal things that happen?
Like, now I see other kids and their parents, I compare them to my dad. Our dad was a really normal father, like when he was with us.
Really?
Yeah, we would get grounded if we did something bad.
He would ground you?
Yeah, he would ground us. But he didn't call it grounding. He would just say, you're on punishment.
We were interested in, at one point I wanted to be an astronaut. He was like, do it. do it, you know, educate yourself as much as possible and then go with it with every aspect of life. Grew up going to Kingdom Hall, which is the church for Jehovah's Witnesses, but my dad, he used to always like emphasize knowledge is power. And so I just always wanted to learn new things.
I remember him saying that in a lot of ways, you're most like your dad. In what ways would you say that is?
That is so sweet. You'd have to ask him. I think maybe it had to do with my love for music. Hopefully my sense of humor. I don't know. Another one that I got that was very discreet was I got my father's birthday and Roman numerals on my wrist.
When he was young, he would be in the studio and he'd look outside and he'd see kids on the playground, and he couldn't do that. And he didn't want that for us, so we wore masks. And I appreciated it. It was nice, because we were able to go to like Chuck E. Cheese and Circus, and we could be normal.
I don't know. I read so much because that was like our form of currency growing up. Like my brothers and I, like my dad wanted us to
like trading books.
Well, not necessarily. So we weren't just like handed things. Like we lived life in like a silver spoon kind of way. Like we literally had everything. I never had to worry about like my next meal or a roof over my head, whatever it was. Like I got to see the world, but things weren't just like the good stuff wasn't just like thrown at us. We had to like work for it. So our dad had us use like books as currency. So it's like, oh, if we're going to FAO Schwartz and you want 5 toys, well, you have to read 5 books and I will quiz you on it. And so I like read all 7 Chronicles of Narnia in a week. Like
really?
I woke up at 6 a.m., read the first book, finished it by bedtime, and then next day did the same thing. And in 7 days, I finished the whole
shit.
And that was like, I got 7 toys. You know what I mean? Like that was that was our currency. We like had to earn it. And books are like knowledge is power is what he used to say. And my first, I guess, thoughts and experiences, you know, like I didn't know that it was a thing. And so I was a little conflicted about it because all I'd ever seen were men and women on TV together. And so these thoughts didn't really make sense to me, but my dad caught on pretty quick. I think he just felt the energy and he would like kind of tease me the same way that he would tease my brothers. Like, oh, you got yourself a girlfriend. If like we're staring at a magazine of a woman too hard, you know, like he'd be like, oh, you like her, you know, which was, I'm very lucky to have that, especially like so young. I think I was like 8 or 9. Because not many children have that experience.
Daddy, thank you for my birthday cake, and I love you so much. I love my daddy so much.
Michael Jackson is the king of pop.